Hello, welcome to my code section of this video. This is going to be me explaining the code that I've written. So here, start with this stuff. This one is mostly, this include iron stream is always used and always needed, and this slash include string is in case of any other emulators of any other compilers that wouldn't be able to read strings, that will be added for any other program. Then using namespaces, TD is used to just skip over the std dot cut that will get written down for faster processes. And yeah, in main, this is the starting function. You start with string name, course, and yansec. Yansec is year and section. That's the data type. And then int subjects is also gonna be used for the count of how many subjects you're gonna be putting inside dito sa ating output. String subject name and subject grade and the pass fail will be used for storing those data types. This will be all arrays. I've implicated arrays for easier storing of data. And then we input the student information. We start with enter your name, enter your course and your section, which is simple, but there's a new change, which is a get line. This is used for in case that the input user will be using spaces, and it's more likely going to be used in the name, so we had to use get line in order to have it be having spaces on the input out on the output. However, when it comes to int 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 variables, we use sin instead. This is because it's just there's no need for spaces specifically for sin, as you can see there. Hopefully it's being able to be seen. But yeah, sin, and then we put the sin.ignore for the reason that the sin will be reading that subjects with the get line. Like first in this part, it will read the emptiness of the space to the sin. So we're using sin.ignore. That's a simpler explanation for it. Sin.ignore will be used for that, and sin the subjects to ignore the get line spaces that will get used by these three. So yeah, going to the next one. For loop, input the subjects names and grades. So again, that's my comment. This loop is just used to input the grades and the lines for the subjects. Again, the subjects is using get line again because of the main reason that some subjects need spaces. For example, game development, kailangan nila ng space. So that's for the reason why we use get line. Then sin subject grade, again hindi kailangan ng space yung grade, most likely. And again, igagamit ng sin.ignore, which ignores yung mga spaces na nilagyan ng get line. Yeah, that's for the input of the subject name and grades. Again, your subject is the loop here, you can get it. I see less than subjects and then I++. Display student information. That's the student information, name, course, year, and section. This one is just yung past. It just shows your student information that has been given. Then there will be subject results. Now we start with the do while process, which is using this process. We'll be finding out if failed or is it passed. I use the pass fail array for this, which stores a failed or passed variable for it to be inside the array. It's y is equals to 0, set to 0, so it will always input it to be pass fail 0 at the start, and then it will do its while where it repeats it again until it is the y is less than subjects, which is the exact amount that the subjects needed it to be. Anyway, so that is the reason why we have passed and failed, which will be shown later. Then the while loop will be used here to show the subject name and the grade, and then if it's passed and failed, this is the subject name, which is using the x as its x is equals to 0, use 0 for the first input of the array, and then subject name x, and then subject grade x, again using the 0. It's always starting with 0. The subject name will be 0, which means the first subject you put in will be the first one here on the subject name, and then it will appear in the subject results later. Grade, subject grade x, same thing, and then it shows pass fail, which is the results of this one right here, this entire process. And yeah, that will be showing the entirety of it. I've used the do while and for loop, but I have to use another one for calculating GWA to make it more simpler for the system. It's again using for loop to where it adds up to grade sum, which is 0, and then adding it to subject grade A, which increments itself. And yeah, that's it repeats itself until it gets towards a point which grade sum will now become the number that it once was. For example, let's say subject grade A is equals to 75, which was the 0. Subject grade 0 is equals to 75. Then this is 0 plus 75 is equals to 75. Then it increments by A plus plus. So now it will be 1, subject grade 1 plus 75, which is grade sum during that time. And now this grade sum will be whatever that entire array was added on. And now we use that to do a GWA on the grade sum, and therefore we just divide it to subjects, which is the amount of subjects there are. That is the general weighted average, and then we just put it out to where it shows the general weighted average, which is GWA, which is this variable, and then use an end line again. Again, all of these we're using end lines just so that it appears cleanly on the output, which we're not gonna go look at. That is what it is. We're now gonna run the simulation. As you can see, I'm currently typing here. And as you can see, that works cleanly because of the get line. Again, of course, here you don't need to space it out, but some courses need some space. Like for example, BS Entrepreneurship maybe uses some space in there, but BSCS. I was once on 2D, so that was mostly my subjects. And then enter the name of subjects, which is required to be 5. And we're just gonna type here some stuff. 95. Physics. 84. Game development. As you can see here, I can write down some spaces and it wouldn't immediately go to the next code. Game development grade is let's say 73 for the failed ones. PE 90, I guess, and algebra, I guess. We're gonna put another failed grade of 57. And then there you go. As you can see, student information, name Christian Carlos-Door, and then BSCS 2D. I didn't write down a line there, but you know, that should work as normal. And then there's the subject results, which is all here, and then the general weighted average is equals to 79. And yeah, that's the code successfully inputted. Thank you for watching. I'm just gonna make sure it's a minimum of 10, use at least 5, trying to explain the program output. Yep, I said everything. Yep, and that's it. I mean, I don't need to explain as much. For loop is here. It's just to again, just for better explanation. This for loop is just used to find the first subject to be put it into the array, and this one is the one that will use it. This is the subject I plus 1 name. This is because the I is equals to 0. 0 plus 1 is equals to 1, so subject 1 instead of 0. So now it will appropriately name itself as such. I mean, as you can see, I'm trying to explain it here, but you know, I mean, but yeah, that's all. Thank you for watching. I'm already in 10 minutes. Alright, goodbye.